We've looked at increases in delays at intersections, and those delays translate into how many cars are backed up or queued at intersections. What you would experience is an increase in delay at any intersection of less than 5 seconds, actually going up by about 3.9 seconds. So it's not significant in terms of the added delay. The reason for that is when we talk about how much traffic is expected to be produced, it's less than 20 vehicles over the course of an hour. As we look at Draper Avenue and we look at either end at Allen and at Route 1 and look at those crash rates, there are no high crash locations. The number of crashes that are happening are below what would be considered typical or average. So the next thing we look at safety is, of course, is the driveway properly designed and positioned so that if you're driving along Draper Avenue, you could see a vehicle if they pull out and stall in the road so that it's safe for you to be able to stop. And then if you're exiting the project, looking to the left or right, can you see a vehicle that's approaching you? So the larger number that you see at the top, this is the daily number. So this is the amount of traffic that would be produced over a 24-hour period. So this is 7 to 8 in the morning. We're going to add 15 vehicles on top of the peak volume traffic on Draper Avenue and Route 1. And then the weekday evening peak hour is 16 vehicles getting added to that 4 to 5 time period in the evening.
I believe that one of the planning board comments was to provide sidewalk along Draper Avenue. Would you be doing that?
The answer is yes. The planning board's recommendation is being incorporated into the next round of plans that you'll see next month.
So this is the site triangular that is for a motorist that's exiting the site, and they're looking to the left or right. That's the area that needs to be kept clear. So we want to make sure within those shaded areas that we do not have objects that are more than 3.5 feet in height. We also want to plan for future accommodations now that we do have the sidewalk infrastructure to make sure that the project, again, it's walkable, bikeable, and then to the extent that there is transportation services.
So we did a review of the study. Mr. Dirk sort of ran through how we would go through the review. We take a look at the study as a whole. We analyze what kind of assumptions were made. We take a look at the data they provided and make sure that everything's up to state standards. And we generally concurred with everything that we saw in the traffic study.
150 Draper Avenue is not a pedestrian-friendly or bicycle-friendly location, despite what any report might have you believe. The Transportation Impact Assessment report claims that only 12 vehicles will be exiting the property during the morning peak. However, given the size of the complex and the fact that many units are to be 2 bedrooms or more, it is evident that this estimate vastly underestimates the actual traffic volume that such a development would generate. So there are accidents that happen here. So this is September 2019. Thankfully, we were not home when this happened. This happened in the evening. They identify Route 1 and Draper as a crash-prone intersection. I mean, and most of that section of Route 1 appears to be identified as crash-prone. If you look at Route 1 to Allen Avenue on Draper, as we've discussed, there's no continuation to the sidewalk. So essentially, we have dead-end sidewalks other than going south.
A lot of the information presented today and in the report is around car traffic, vehicle traffic. Are you going to have traffic at the set of lights? You know, which direction are people headed? From my point of view, in my selfish point of view, I have 2 young girls. I'm concerned about them getting hit, but also additional kids being introduced to a system or an area where there's no infrastructure to protect them.
Draper is a throughway. So whenever the brake lights start breaking, when you start seeing lots of brake lights going on Route 1, all of a sudden everybody takes a right to go up Draper. And this is not during, like, it doesn't have to be at peak times. It could be because of the weather and everybody's slowing down. It's raining. All of a sudden, everybody's going up Draper because people don't want to get on the highway because all of a sudden it's just started pouring. I am not going to go down Route 1 if I know that it's going to take me 30 minutes to get there because the weather's crappy. I have tried to cross the road. I didn't know, like, you can hear the accidents, the sirens go, and the next thing you know, you can't go get the mail because it's going to take you 5 minutes of waiting for all the cars to stop right where it's located. You're at the bottom of a hill around a turn. They said, oh, these sight lines, they want to show you the sight lines for Norton Road. You're not looking up at the hill. The hill, you can push the trees back as much as you want. It's a hill with a corner to it, which makes it really hard to see. And they come down that road doing 50 miles an hour.
I come to the end of Norton Road, and I'm in no particular hurry. And for that, I'm taking my wife's advice and I'm being a little extra careful because they come down pretty quick down that hill. And I look off to the right and I swear to God, there's no one there. Made my commitment, I'm stepping on the gas. And I look up in the rearview mirror, there's a guy right on my tail, 5 feet from me. In the time that you're gonna make a decision to take that turn, you can't estimate whether you'll have enough time or not, because you can't know fast enough just how rapidly that car is approaching.
Taking down an 8-room house and putting up a 40-room, a 40-apartment building with the other outhouses, et cetera, and parking, it's just too big for that spot.
So when we measure speed of traffic, in our case, over 2 days, so we're measuring, let's say it's 2,500 vehicles per day, we're measuring the speed of 5,000 vehicles over 2 days. And we're looking at what the 85th percentile speed. So if I plotted the speed of all those vehicles, what I'm looking at is the 85th percentile speed is the speed at which 85% of those vehicles either traveled at or below. The 15% is, it's important to understand that, but it's an outlier. And we don't design for the 15%. We design for the 85th percentile. The distance that's required is based on perception reaction time. So there was discussion about the fact that no time to react. That's built into these. These calculations are done on a marginal driver, the time it takes for them to perceive what's happening in front of them, and then react to it. React either being apply the brakes and stop the vehicle before I hit the vehicle, or you avoid the object that happens to be in the roadway. And it's based on a 1950 vehicle with bald tires on wet pavement. That's how those measurements are performed. We've made sure that what's provided here far exceeds what's needed for how people are actually driving the roadways.